Welcome to Cooking for Your Health. I have a really good friend of mine and former boss, Janet Trulove, with me today, and we are going to cook something that, I don't know, you've never made these, have you?
No, never made them.
We're going to make crepes or Swedish pancakes. And I was kind of thinking, you know, in a lot of countries, they have a flat bread pancake kind of thing in most cultures. You know, tortillas, dublinses, Swedish pancakes. This was something that my mother used to make on winter evenings when my father wasn't around. And we had more fun putting stuff in them. And it was just beyond lingonberries. Since then, I've kind of gotten a little bit more creative on what I put in them. And I'm going to confess, I can't make a round crepe. It's just not in my genetic ability. So, crepes are so easy.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Okay. I've got a little bit of white whole wheat flour, 2 cups of milk. I put about a teaspoon of salt in there.
Is that fat-free milk?
Yep, it's good old skim milk.
Good.
And we're using as many WIC foods as we can. And Janet, you don't know a lot about the new food package.
I don't.
Well, we've added fruits and vegetables.
Ooh,
We still give
yummy.
eggs. We give milk.
Of course.
Oh, booger doesn't want to come out.
Now flour? It's not.
No, flour's not. And I'm using whole wheat flour because they do give us they do give whole grains.
Yes.
Brown rice, whole grain tortillas, or whole wheat bread. I'm using white whole wheat simply because it's a little less strong than regular whole wheat.
But you still get the fiber.
You do, you get the
sneak it
fiber.
in.
It's not as much fiber.
Really?
No, it's a little less. But a little less is better than none. And if you want to do this with white flour, you can. I just like the texture of whole wheat.
I do too.
It gives it just a little bit more body.
Tastes better.
And a crepe is essentially kind of a flat custard. Okay, it's almost like making
So there are only 3 ingredients? There's no
4
4.
with the salt.
I started
And
to
you
say.
want a little salt just because it adds a little bit of flavor.
Now, did you add the salt?
Yeah, I put that in with the flour.
Okay, because I wondered.
Yeah, I snuck that in.
Okay.
Oops. Stop beating everything up. Now, this is a griddle. When I do them normally, and I'm not on the program, I do them on the stove on a big griddle. And again, I have yet to make a round crepe. They come out quite interestingly shaped.
Yes, they do.
But you know,
Kind of like you.
thanks. That's, you know, and if they get to be a little bit longer, a little oblong, I'm going to turn this up just a little bit. Come on. I don't think my counter is straight either, which doesn't help.
Maybe that's why you can't get round ones.
I can't get them anywhere in this house. It might be the old house. But you know, you just make them so they're big enough about to fit the stuff in them. And this is going to be an interesting crepe. Darn it all. I get irritated with myself because I can't make a round crepe, but
Does it taste different?
no, it doesn't
Well.
taste any different. Let me see if I can do this. There we go. Maybe that will help. I want to make this just a little bit more round. If they're oblong, they really work better. And you don't want to cook them too long. I'm going to let these cook for just a little bit. And we are going to go get some things that you could put in them. Now, you can make savory crepes, you can make dessert crepes, you can put vegetables, you can put meats, you can put all kinds of good things in crepes.
What do you want to do first?
Well, I think we might just put the meat mixture that my mother used to do. I'm going to cut off the long skinny things just because we don't need them.
Wow.
Yeah, and they're not real hard to flip. Now, I had a little tear in that one, so I kind of glued it with some dough. These are not, I think I need to turn up my heat just a smidge. There.
That's pretty brown.
Yeah, and the long one, the benefit to the longer one is that it's easier to fill it. because you have a long thing to fold over as opposed to a round thing. This is about as round as I can ever get them.
That's pretty good, Margit.
I just can't. For some reason, round crepes just don't happen with me. I'm going to let these cook just a smidge more. I have two things that you can put in. This is an onion. I took an onion. I caramelized the onion, and I caramelized it quite a bit. I wanted it to be very sweet. I wanted to get the sweet stuff out. Then I put some, I think it was stir-fry meat, some kind of beef, and I cooked it, and again, I cooked it until it was really, really quite brown, quite colorful. And then I threw in just a little bit of cooking sherry. And cooking sherry is something that it adds a little bit of oomph. You don't have to use it. It's really sherry with a little bit of salt in it. You could use a broth, but I had cooking sherry on hand. My mother used to put this.
Cooking sherry.
In this meat mixture in it, and it was usually leftover roast beef or pork or something like that. Let's see if this one's cooked a little bit better.
Oh, beautiful.
Yes. And then the other thing you can put, and this is kind of a WIC food, tuna or chicken salad. And we did this one year, and I don't know why. I said, you know, we've got tuna salad in the refrigerator. Let me try that in there. My land sakes, was it good.
Good.
So we decided, okay, that's a really good thing to put in it. It's easy. And when I make my chicken or tuna salad, I make it with onions and capers. You can put celery in it if you want. Pretty much whatever you want to make, you can do this.
Is there mayonnaise in there?
Yes, there is. We did low-fat mayonnaise.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good.
Don't want to do it too puffy. All right. This one's perfect. I think I'm going to put the beef in this one. And all you have to do, whoopsie. Now see, it's not perfect, but it's going to look pretty good. And you're going to put about a quarter cup of this, or half a cup, something like that, however much you want. And I did thicken it a little bit with a little bit of whole wheat flour. And then you're going to flip it over. And I'm going to get some interesting herbs. Here I have some basil and I think a little bit of thyme just to make it pretty.
That is pretty.
And you can even put just a smidge on top.
Now
Just
cheese?
no,
No.
cheese doesn't go in that one.
Sorry.
That's all right. You're getting ahead of me. And then this one's going to be kind of the creative one because you can almost do like a roll this way. And here you go. Just put a good bit of it. You know, this is dinner. You put it over there. Put a little bit on top just to get some color. And let's see.
What do you want?
Ooh, well, thyme really goes well. If I had dill, I would do dill. And that just kind of gives it a little bit of an interesting garnish. So these are two that you can do on an evening when you want to cook something. And
It's really quick.
it is. It's really easy. Now the next one we're going to make, and let me get a crepe going. And I'm going to keep on cooking crepes as we go. I did prepare some. So I am going to go get those. No, it's not going to be a circle. One can always hope. I can't make I think this countertop is a bit cattywampus. Alrighty. Okay, we'll be back in a second, and we're going to make one that's filled in a little different recipe.
Separate raw meats from other foods by using different cutting boards. 3,000 Americans will die from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
The W&C Farmers Market is located on a 36-acre site overlooking the beautiful Blue Ridge Mountains and Biltmore Estate. It is located in Asheville, North Carolina, which is within a 2-hour drive of a tremendous volume of horticultural products. There are 3 kinds of produce markets: wholesale, retail, and farmers. The W&C Farmers Market has a blend of all 3. We are located in the heart of the apple and tomato production areas and close to the South Carolina peach production area. You can find the whole alphabet of fruits and vegetables at the W&C Farmers Market, from apples to zucchini, as well as mountain crafts, jams and jellies, ornamental plants, flowers, baked goods, and honey. The market is a wonderful place to find farm-fresh, vine-ripened, and tree-ripened produce at a reasonable price. W&C Farmers Market is conveniently located off Interstate 40 at exit 47 and off Interstate 26 at exit 33 in Asheville. Our address is 570 Brevard Road. Whether you are looking to stretch your food budget, entertaining friends, or family, please come out and visit the market and make it a regular part of your place to shop for fresh produce.
Hungry?
Yeah.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
I'm going to do a recipe for crepes that I had never heard of before, but I was scanning through a cookbook and I kind of took the idea that they had and I kind of modified it. I'm going to take onions and different colored peppers, a little garlic, and some tomato. We're going to saute the vegetables, add the tomatoes, and then cook it down so it's nice and thick, and add some Swiss cheese. And then we bake it in the oven. So I'm going to cook these and then we'll be right back and I'll show you how to stuff them. I have pre-made these crepes, and again, this one kind of looks like a leaf. You can get kind of creative with the shapes.
Yes.
This is the tomato, onion, and pepper mixture that I made.
It really cooked down.
It does, and sometimes you can get it almost saucy.
Now, are any of those vegetables available on the WIC program?
They all are.
Really?
Yep. The tomatoes, the peppers, and onions are definitely, and this is a little bit of Swiss cheese, which is a WIC food. Let me spray this little casserole. I'm putting these together on a plate simply because it's easier to work that way. And then I'm going to kind of roll them, almost like a cannelloni or a, yeah, and spread that out just a smidge. Okay. And a little bit more Swiss cheese. Now, you can use another cheese. The cheese that the recipe called for, I went and looked at it. It was like $10 for this little tiny block, and I wasn't going to spend $10 for cheese. So, you know, again, Swiss cheese in the block is a WIC food.
It's a great way to use it.
You know, it is. And Swiss cheese is a little interesting in that it's a, oops, I'm going to turn these while you do that.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Now, what was interesting about Swiss cheese?
It's got an interesting flavor. It's got a little bit of punch to it.
Mm-hmm.
And it is fairly low in fat. And I use my fingers a lot because it's easier.
It's the best utensil.
It is. It's so much easier. And we're going to put, I think I'm going to do like another 2. Well, maybe another 1. I'll let you put the cheese on top.
So would you serve this as a side? Or would it be a main dish because of the cheese?
We did it as a main dish when we had it.
Okay.
And again, it's an easy dish. It's got your vegetables. It's got the protein of the cheese. The other thing I want to point out, I cooked this in a skillet because the tomatoes have a lot of vitamin C and acid, and you're going to get more iron from this. So I'm going to let you sprinkle the cheese on top of that while I go put this over here. And then we're going to put that in the oven until the cheese is melted, and then you bring this out, and it's kind of like a casserole. I'm not sure, but I think you could probably make this ahead and then come home and put it in the refrigerator, or have it in the refrigerator, come warm it up, and it'd be yummy.
Yes.
It looks delicious.
It does look delicious.
And it's so easy.
Great way to get your veggies in.
I mean, that looks like you went to a high-dollar restaurant.
Yes, definitely.
So, now this next recipe comes from, I went to a wonderful French restaurant, and I had never had a crepe with fresh vegetables in it. We just didn't have those when we were kids. The meat, the tuna, a little bit of lingonberries, applesauce, that's what we had. So I decided, I came home and I said, okay, I'm gonna figure out how to make these. I put a little bit of Parmesan or another one of those really, really good Italian cheeses. And I want to let this melt just a smidge. Some fresh tomatoes that I've cut up.
Now, if you didn't have Parmesan, could you use just cheddar or something?
You could, but I think because I'm going to put pesto in it,
it'd do better.
It would, yeah. I don't think it would be as good.
Okay.
And when I make this, my son is absolutely in heaven. Oh boy, we're going to have those crepes. And I'm going to.
He's a teenager.
Yeah, and he's a teenager. Now, I'm going to take an opportunity while the cheese melts here. I want to show you how to make a tomato rose. And tomato roses will make everybody just go goo gaga. You cut the bottom of a tomato, and then you're going to peel the tomato in a solid piece. You can make these with onion or any kind of citrus fruits, any kind of tomatoes. And this will be my fancy garnish for this. I'm doing a little more garnishing today because I figure, you know, crepes is kind of a high-dollar kind of thing.
Sure, that's going to be a rose.
Yep. You take it this way, you twirl it around.
Oh, Margit,
A rose!
that's beautiful.
Now, I'm going to take pesto. Now, this is the regular jarred pesto. You can make your own. I added water to this because I want it to be kind of liquidy. I'm going to put just a smidge of pesto inside.
That's so pretty.
It is, and it, you know, the cheese melts and it kind of all goes together. And now this is the tricky part. And I like to kind of put them so they look like a butterfly. I've got kind of different colored wings on this. Evidently, one side of this cooks up a little harder than the other. And I'm going to put some pesto. And then I'm going to put a rose.
Beautiful.
There we go.
Beautiful.
And that is my Italian French version of a crepe because I'm not sure if it's French or Italian, but it is kind of fun. And again, it's a savory crepe. The tomatoes are a wick food. The pesto is not, but you know, and the cheese is. Well, the cheese is not really,
No.
but a lot of us have Parmesan. I find, or Reggiano, I find if I do my own grating, I
Yes.
buy the block and I do my own grating. Don't buy that pre-grated stuff in the thing.
green thing.
Yeah, because for this, for other Parmesan is okay, but for this you want to have it more of a melty thing. Okay, we're going to take a break and we're going to get the other crepes out of the oven show them off, and then we're going to do dessert crepes, which are outrageously good, and I kind of have some kind of fun things I'm going to do.
Okay.
Cook foods to the right temperature using a food thermometer. 3,000 Americans will die from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
My name's Dave Ligotti. I'm a jazz singer. I play in venues in the Asheville area here now. After the ordinance was mandated to have non-smoking venues, my health has definitely improved. My voice range has increased. I even had positive comments from smokers who admitted that although they smoked cigarettes, they still didn't like sitting in a room that was just emanating with cigarette smoke. It's very wonderful to play in a smoke-free environment.
The first crepe I'm going to do, I have to tell a story. I had a boss, not this one, but another one, and I used to tease her. Her first name was Ruby, and her middle name was Suzette. And I jokingly called her Ruby June. So
It suited her.
It did. And so instead of crepes Suzette, these are crepes Ruby June.
All right.
Now, here's a little bit of grated chocolate. And if you're going to do chocolate, you're going to do good chocolate.
Is that dark chocolate?
Yeah, and it's, you know, it's good dark chocolate. Don't waste calories on icky chocolate.
No.
And because crepes Suzette have a little bit of orange, and they're real sweet, and it's all this. And I like orange and chocolate together. I think it's a good combination.
Oh, it's great.
This is some low sugar marmalade. And now neither of these are WIC foods.
That's
but
true.
you know, sometimes you gotta have fun. And this is a little bit of vanilla yogurt, which is not a WIC food either, but it's still a nutritious food.
Is it low fat?
Oh yeah.
Good.
Now, I don't do the sugar-free kind because I don't much care for it. Oh, let me put just a smidge. I like doing something on the top of crepes just because I think it looks better.
Oh, that's nice.
And then we'll do some more chocolate. Now, if you do these on the griddle, the chocolate melts. And they're really quite good. Now, that took 2 minutes.
It did.
It's an easy, easy thing. The hardest thing is making your crepes round and, you know, getting them cooked correctly. But other than that, you know, it really doesn't matter. Let me make the other dessert crepe. Now, this one, I have to tell you, I was inspired as I was walking through Ingles today. And I was thinking, okay, what kind of crepe can I make? Ooh, this one's kind of stuck on there. Nope, another scrambled crepe.
Can I help?
No, I think I got it. I'm just having some issues. I made them and put them with wax paper between them. And one of them doesn't want to leave the wax paper. So I was walking through Ingles and I saw these beautiful strawberries. Well, there is nothing quite as good as strawberries. You could put chocolate in this or not, but I think a little bit of yogurt. I will say these strawberries were a bit tart, so I put just a smidge of sugar on them. And I let them sit. And if you put the sugar and let it sit, it kind of draws the juice out. So you have this wonderful, juicy.
Yummy.
And let's be decadent. Put a little bit of chocolate on there.
Let's do.
And then we fold it over. Get it in the center here. Put another dollop of yogurt. Again, we want to have a pretty presentation. And I did another one of my food service things. I cut a strawberry and I just cut little slits in it. And then you fan it. And then let's go really decadent and put just a little chocolate on it. Now, these are all fancy, but they're easy.
They sure were.
They are not a hard thing to make. They're not a scary thing to make. If you scramble them, they still taste good. And, you know, these are all easy. They're inexpensive. The milk and the cheese and the vegetables are all WIC foods. And they all have nutrition in them. We frequently will make the my Italian kind of crepes and then have some dessert crepes. So I make a recipe or two depending on how many people are in the house. And we make them and then we have some savory and then we have dessert. And it's really, really yummy.
And these are all low fat.
They're healthy, they're pretty.
Nutritious.
Yeah, and they're a little bit fancy.
But they're easy.
Yeah, they're easy.
I'm going to try it.
Yeah,
I am.
You might be able to make brown ones.
I doubt it. I'm not going to go there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you all enjoy this. And,
I loved it.
well, wait till you taste them.
I can't wait.
Okay. Thank you very much. For more information, please go to the Buncombe County website, Cooking for Your Health. We also have these programs on YouTube, and you're welcome to YouTube me. Thank you. Bye-bye.